Okay, Bu Sastia, can we start?
Yes, Bu, please.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Let me begin by giving you a warm welcome to our speakers, Professor Uchiyama and Dr. Yulius Setiady, and also the representative from Ministry of Research and Technology, Formine Institute, Formine, and IMPAT. And also to all participants of this webinar, especially for Pak Iskandar Siregar, the research director from IPB that also joined today. My name is Neni Nuraini, and I am a R&D project integration manager of PT Bio Farma, and I will be a moderator of this webinar series. Okay, so this fifth season of the World Class Scientist webinar series is sponsored by our Ministry of Research and Technology. And as I mentioned, today we will have two speakers, Professor Uchiyama and then Dr. Yulius Setiady. Also, this is the agenda of our meeting. Please, Bu Sri. Okay, first we will have the opening from Dr. Sastia, and then the opening speech from Professor Arif Satrio, Rector of IPB and Head of Indonesia Rector Forum. Then followed by the first speaker, Professor Uchiyama, and then Dr. Yulius Setiady. So today's webinar theme is about academia and industry collaboration. As we know that academy, industry collaboration, and technology transfer have over the past 50 years play increasing prominent roles in biomedical science. University partnership with industry can expedite the availability of innovative drugs and other medical technologies, bring both important public health benefits. And of course, source as an income for universities and their faculties through the variety of financial agreements. Today, we will discuss the situation and challenge of the collaboration, the gaps between the academics offer and what industry needs, and the strategies to close the gap. Dr. Sastia, our moderator of Institute, and we will hear of Formine Institute in the field of research and education. For Bu Sastia.
Okay, thank you very much, Ibu Neni. A very welcome and good evening to everyone. I'm very pleased to welcome everyone here in our fifth session of World Class Scientist Series Part 2. So I would like to just introduce our board of directors, our coordinators for Formine Institute. So we are a non-profit organization that is focused on the development and the enhancement of research, community services, and also for education. So we have 5 members of our coordinators. Perhaps you have met some of them. One of them is our moderator. Ibu Neni is our coordinator in health and medical affairs. And Ibu Feni Dwi Fani is our coordinator for food and agriculture. Ibu Feni Dwi Fani is also from ITB. And Professor Ketut Wikantika is the coordinator for education, applied technology, and community services. And we have Dr. Muhammad Iqbal for the social science and humanities. Next, please. As a part of our efforts to introduce very relevant and new advancements in the research and technology from globally, we also actively conduct partnerships with universities from different universities in Indonesia, one of them being IPB, UGM, ITB for the ForTi Metabolomics Talk series. And this was held last December up to February. Then we had to switch to online-based seminars after the COVID-19. So next, please. And then we had organized many different events. One of them is very relevant also to the development of, for example, the status of vaccine development and also policies related to COVID-19. We also actively conduct trainings on capabilities to increase the competency of Indonesian researchers in terms of scientific writing, grants, and how to get patents, and as well as for our younger members to give them tips on how to get scholarship and postgraduate fellowships. So, in the first series of World Class Scientists, we partner with the Indonesian Ministry of Indonesian Ministry of Research and Technology, and I4. This is an Indonesian International Scholars Association, where I am also the Secretary General. And we also partner with the Indonesian Young Scientist Forum. We held 4 sessions, and the topics range from how to come up with breakthrough research, also about scientific writing, grants, and how to establish oneself in the field of science. Due to the very good feedback from the audience, we decide to extend this World Class Scientist series, and therefore we are now in the 5th session of World Class Scientist Series 2. So we have held lots and lots of very interesting webinars so far. Up until now, 4 webinars have been held, and we are also very passionate to increase the number of female researchers in Indonesia, and these are one of our events. Involving our very own Professor Bambang Brojonegoro, our Minister of Research and Technology. We're also in attendance to give a keynote speech. And we held many different kinds of events, like a national essay competition for high school students and also university students. Then, not to mention, we also have business and leadership talk, scholarship hacks, and all of these are freely available and freely accessible for everyone in our YouTube channel. So please stay tuned and to our next events, and I hope that you will enjoy today's event. Thank you very much.
Sastia, thank you for the introduction regarding the ForTi activity. And then before we start the main agenda, we have a photo session. So please, everyone, that if you don't mind to open your camera, yeah.
Yes, it's a very great honor to have 2 speakers, Pa
Yes.
Yulius and Uchiyama Sensei here. So we're very excited. And Uchiyama Sensei is already wearing his batik, a very, very beautiful batik. I should have worn batik as well.
And remember, Bu Sastia, Uchiyama Sensei is in Japan is very late in the night, but it's very morning in Boston, Pak Julius.
Pa
So
Julius in Boston now, very early in the morning. Yeah. So thank you so much for attending from different parts of the globe.
yes,
I think we have
okay.
people from Europe, I think, joining us today also from I4. Okay,
Okay.
so I would probably give a sign to take a picture. I would count in the count of 3. Admin ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, for the next frame, 1, 2, 3. Okay, last one. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Bu Sastia. Okay, we will start now the main agenda. So we will have Professor Arif Satrio. Professor Arif Satrio, he is currently a rector of IPB University and head of the Indonesian Forum Rector. He will give us the opening remark of these seasons. And then we will hear from him by the recorded video. So Please, Mbak Sri, can you help with the video? Oh, Bu Sastia ya, please. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, honorable resource person, Professor Susumu Uchiyama from Osaka University, Dr. Yulius Setiady, KP Genetics and Biologics, Rector, Vice Rectors, Dean, Director, Head of Research Center, and colleagues representing member of institution of Forum Rector Indonesia or Indonesia Rector Forum, representative Ministry of Research and Technology, Director for Mine Institute and the moderator, members and chairman of Ikatan Ilmuwan Indonesia International, professor, researchers, and all participants. Firstly, please allow me to extend our warm welcome to the participants of this event, World Class Scientists Online Seminar Series 2, with specific topic on academia-industry partnership. It is known that current academia-industry partnership is generally still conducted through traditional ways, such as student internship, guest lecturership, industry advisory board membership, student scholarship, job fairs, consultancies, and contract research. Innovative attempts have been made to bring more industries that the traditional ways into campus with different degree of success, including the use of open innovation platform, the establishment of Science Techno Park or STP with industry talent facilities, new policies and regulation, as well as financing schemes. Ladies and gentlemen, we are all aware that discovery research is very, very important, which should be ideally applied and further developed following innovation pathway, including assessment of technology readiness level or TRL, technology incubation, business matching, and assessment of innovation readiness. IBB, as an example, has a holding company, namely Bogor Life Science and Technology, that manage one of the core business lines, namely science-based business in connection with the IBB Science Technopark infrastructure. Based on the IBB's lesson learned, one of the important factors to be well considered in order to achieve more success of downstreaming process is to minimize the risk at the front end of the process. The use of new technologies such as 3D printing, virtual store surveys, big data analytics is indispensable to gain more empirical data for assessing innovation readiness level of prospective products. To be noted also that apart from technopreneurship, the new sociopreneurship model will also gain more important in the future with respect to growing human technology interaction driven by Industrial Revolution 4.0 and New Society Concept 5.0. Moreover, it is of great importance to provide excellent innovation ecosystem in higher education institutions, involving industry and community within the triple helix framework. In this case, excellent infrastructure and facilities such as Technopark, business incubator, and teaching industry are necessary where teaching staff, researchers, and students can interact through the learning process, knowledge co-creation with industry and future job market. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, would like to thank Forman Institute, IFO, and BRIN for conducting this event, bringing well-known scientists and practitioners to share their experience and on academia-industry partnership. We wish all of you all productive and inspiring session. Sincerely hope the seminar is a great success. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Is everyone can hear me, Pak Bu Sastia?
Yes, Bu.
Okay. So thank you for Professor Arif for give opening remarks on this webinar series. We heard from him about the ecosystem of the IPB University in terms of collaboration with the industry. He mentioned about the innovation, the technology, and also the infrastructure in IPB to really give the opportunity of the university to collaborate more with the industry. And this ecosystem is very important in the future collaboration. So let's move to our main agenda. It's now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Professor Uchiyama. Uchiyama Sensei, how are you?
Good. Yeah, thank you.
Okay,
Good.
thank you. So let me introduce Uchiyama Sensei. So Uchiyama Sensei is a professor at the Department of Biotechnology Graduate School of Engineering, Osaka University. His research interests are macromolecular biotechnology, physical chemistry of therapeutic proteins, protein-protein interaction, cell engineering, and application. His achievements, including notable international research collaboration with industries worldwide, including with PT Bio Farma Indonesia. And also, he is founder of startup company U Medico in Japan. So today he will talk a topic of academia industry partnership from bench to industrial application. So Uchiyama Sensei, please, the time is yours.
Okay. Thank you for your introduction, and also, I very much appreciate Sastia Sensei and also Neni-san giving me the chance to talk and also introduce my activities to Indonesian people. And so can I share my screen? I think
Yes, Sensei,
Yes, Sensei.
please.
okay, good, thank you. Do you see my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Okay, so firstly, at the first time, so the Sastia Sensei, Professor Sastia, asked me to talk about the academia industry partnership. So maybe she know about my activities, not only for university, but also I'm running a company providing some service to pharmaceutical companies. So at this moment, I'm doing, of course, professor and running a laboratory in university. But besides that, I also have a two position at different institute. One is National Institute of Natural Science that is located in Okazaki area, that is 200 kilometers from Osaka, and also I'm doing the visiting professor at Kyoto University, that is rather close to our university. In addition to academic field, I'm also running a company named U Medico, and I will introduce about that company, and also I will introduce why I started that company and how I'm running that company so far. So maybe most of you know that our university, Osaka University, and also Professor Sastia is belong to our university and our department. Our department is actually biotechnology department, but formally our department is established as a fermentation school. So the aiming at the training and education for the fermentation technology, including how to make alcohol and also how to make amino acids or soy sauce using fermentation technologies. But at this moment, fermentation technology is almost very much advanced in industry, like a company. So the most of the professor is doing researches related to more other than fermentation, except for the I think the Professor Fukuzaki's laboratory where Professor Sastia is belong to. He is still very much expertise for the fermentation technologies. But most of the professors, including me, is more focused on the higher eukaryote, like human cells or how to make how to produce antibodies. And recently, in my case, I studied 3 years ago how to analyze and how to do quality control of viruses, and also vaccines for the mostly for the, in case of viruses, mostly for the gene therapies. That is, I think, one of the most advanced field of the pharmaceutical technology. However, my background is protein biophysics and protein biochemistry. So what is protein? Maybe most of you are very much familiar with proteins, but please remind that protein is a kind of the chain polymer composed from amino acids. So they have a long chain. However, the unique property of protein is they make three-dimensional structure. So, or sometimes, so the three-dimensional structures protein is further associate with another proteins to form larger molecular complex. And that kind of the three-dimensional structure is very much easy to be denatured. Denatured means unfold. So our purpose is science and engineering of proteins and protein complex, especially focus on therapeutic proteins. So as already introduced, proteins are rather easy to be denatured, so make aggregate. We are extensively did research about how proteins are aggregate and how to suppress or reduce the amount of aggregate, because protein aggregate included in pharmaceutical product will influence on our immune system, and sometimes they make adverse effect. So I have been focused on antibody drugs. However, also we are very much studying virus vectors for gene therapy, for adeno-associated virus. That is very emerging field, especially in Europe and also United States. And Japan is a little bit behind US and Europe. However, Japanese government very much want to catch up Western countries by injecting a huge amount of money to several projects. And I do not talk about so much about my research, but maybe I need to briefly introduce why I have been working for the proteins, and also how my research is related to industrial field. So usually also university and also pharmaceutical company, mostly they focus on the discovery stage. So the many researchers want to find a new drug for the new new disease target, new target for a specific disease. But once a molecular the pharmaceutical candidate is selected, after that we have to focus the large manufacturer. So and also we have to go into clinical trial, and so the clinical trial we have to take care about the safety issue. We have to care about efficacy and safety, and also we have to do large scale manufacturing. So the initial stage before clinical trial, we have to understand drug product before large scale, and after starting large-scale manufacturing, what we have to do is characterization with more specific purposes, with robust and very highly specific methods. And so far, what we have doing in my laboratory, university laboratory, and also in my company is the biopharmaceutical characterization. And also we are doing gene therapy virus vectors characterization. So what we do is protein analysis, mostly protein analysis. And we can do almost every kind of protein-based protein analysis. So I do not introduce every instrument. However, we have several different type of mass spectrometry and also a series of protein-protein interaction and characterization instrument, and also particle characterization instrument. So these instruments are all for protein characterization, including protein-protein interaction and protein aggregate characterization. Okay, so these are panels of the researches related to antibody drugs in my university laboratory. So we are doing interaction stage and also formulation development and also how antigen-antibody complex are generated and also characterization of antibody aggregates. So we have been published a lot of papers related to this field. And these research is very focused on specific area. However, in my laboratory, I have been working for the method development, especially focus on the protein characterization. So also we are doing the some collaboration and offering very expert skills. So that I think we can provide almost best analytical methods, analytical result to our collaborator. So several or a lot of collaborators is outside the university and also in our university, and we have been published in high impact journal like Nature and Nature Communications every year. But these are I'm not doing the main part. We are helping by providing our expert analysis to our collaborator. So the first key point of my research is we have a very highly skilled protein characterization method. So we have been developed such a method, and I think we can provide such a result almost, I think, the top class in the world. So we always compete to another outside our countries like European community and the US community, and I think that we are a kind of number one in laboratory for the protein characterization. However, this is the thing about the university laboratory. So maybe before going to the the industrial part, maybe I briefly introduce my background. So initially, I entered the university and faculty of science, and very much focus on the instrumentation and also method development, especially using biophysical and physical chemistry method. And after getting bachelor, I entered the master course of Osaka University, and also again the faculty of science, and I learned and also I spend a lot of time on the instrumentation and also method development. And after that, I entered to pharmaceutical school in pharmaceutical science in Osaka University, where I get PhD. And also again, I did focus on method development and including focusing on proteins, peptide, and sometimes I do more synthetic molecule like fullerenes, like C60 and C70. However, until I got PhD, I didn't want to do application. So I focus on very scientific field rather than application field. So because I paid money, I paid tuition. So my main purpose of in university as a student is what I wanted to learn, what I wanted to know. So I refused to do involvement in the application research in my laboratory during my PhD, until I got PhD. However, after that, I started a postdoc in pharmaceutical company, and I was engaged in the rational drug development. But maybe company is very strict for the how to make revenues and how to get the money. Always, the higher level people have to care about the money. So I have to notice about that, how to get money to continue research. But after 2 years of postdoc, I joined as assistant professor of the Department of Biotechnology, Faculty of Engineering, Osaka University, which means the same department and same laboratory as I belong to now. And my professor, actually my supervisor, my boss, asked me to do basic research, that is proteomics of human chromosomes. So I studied proteomics, but maybe some of you about the proteomics, and proteomics is very boring, quite everyday protein separation and identification. And during that, I have chance to visit to Pittsburgh University, and also 2005, I stayed at University of Cambridge for 1 year to learn very special mass spectrometry techniques at Carol Robinson's laboratory, which is in Department of Chemistry. And after that, I founded U-Medical company, U-Medical. And I also did a CSO, Chief Science Officer of the company. But this is not the main job. My main job was still having a professor with the university, and I was promoted to associate professor and finally full professor from 2017. So I have been studying more basic until PhD. However, I gradually going to more industrial interest because of the there is a request, a lot of request to start more application research from outside my laboratory, and also inside my laboratory. So I founded this company, U-Medical, in 2006. That is 14 years ago. And this is a kind of contract research organization. So this is a spin-off company of Osaka University. And the Japanese government actually encouraged university professors to launch the company, venture company, around 2005. So initially, we are encouraged. Encouraged means to launch the company, and also my friend in pharmaceutical company, Japanese big pharmaceutical company, asked me to establish a company and provide consulting service to pharmaceutical companies. So I started as a consulting and analytical service, providing analytical service but my background is physical chemistry of proteins, especially for solution physical chemistry. So I focus on biopharmaceuticals. Biopharmaceuticals is the main component of the drug is proteins. So I consider that my expertise can be utilized for industry. So our client, meaning your medical client, is pharmaceutical companies and also medical equipment manufacturers, and also sometimes because my background is physical chemistry, including polymers, synthetic polymers. So proteins is also the biopolymers, but in addition to biopolymers, we can analyze the also synthetic polymers and also include like micelles. So our laboratory, my company, Umedico, is actually located in Osaka University, and we are paying a rental charge to rent a laboratory. And this is the organization of the Umedico, and I'm doing professor of the university, and also I'm doing chief scientific officer of university. And at this moment, there is 7 staff, including 3 PhD, and also 1 PhD researcher will join from the middle of November. And also we are expanding our company. So we are providing cutting-edge research in the development of antibody and gene therapy product. And one of the important thing is this company, Umedico, half of the researchers have PhD. So we can provide the services based on the very highly research trained people. Okay, and this is some menu of the service we are providing, but we are doing mainly we start from consulting of the pharmaceutical companies, and if pharmaceutical company do analysis by themselves, we do not do that. Instead, we focus on the methods which we consider we can do more high level than pharmaceutical companies. So like for instance, for analytical ultracentrifugation, that is the most I think this is our company, Umedico, is one of the top company providing analytical ultracentrifugation service. And also we are doing particle characterization, so that we have a series of the instruments for the analysis of the for the characterization, physical-chemical characterization of antibodies and also gene therapy product. And of course, we are also doing assessment of biosimilars. So biosimilars is very important for I think to reduce the price of drug, but at the same time, the protein drug is not completely same. Rather, they are called biosimilars. So how similar is the topic of the characterization? So we have to characterize the proteins. So the extensively how similar the two protein is. I mean that one protein is from innovator company and other is a biosimilar company. So, and we have to compare how two proteins is similar, not the completely same. However, how similar is the important thing. And also, we need to develop formulation. Formulation is a kind of the combination of the excipients, buffers, and salt. So the appropriate combination of the component will gives the very stable and very safe formulation for biopharmaceutical product. And also container closure system. Container closure system is like a vial or syringe. And proper syringe and proper material and shape is necessary for the stable protein drug product. So we are doing this kind of service. And this is the current status of U Medical and over 30 clients, including company outside Japan. And almost all income is sales for industry, which means we are not supported from government. So we are mostly just only sales for industry. So private, we are considering the income, the supporting grant from government is a kind of the, that is very helpful sometimes. However, we have to prepare a large, huge document. We have to submit a huge document to government instead of receiving grant, which is not so easy for small companies. And also communication with government takes a lot of time. So we are focusing on the service for industry. And instead, we are receiving charge from the industry. And sales have increased by 20% each year. So we are still growing up and expanding. Also, we are expanding service contents. So this is a research and service organization. So this is maybe key of the organization. So I have laboratory in university where I'm providing education and training for master and PhD candidate. So usually students are not involved in the industrial research. Rather, university, I consider student should be involved, or students have right to be educated or trained during their student time. Rather, researches in my laboratory is mostly done by postdocs. And different from university, laboratory in U Medical is not research organization, rather service providing organization. So doing service for client by all staff. However, not so many people, but 1 or 2 PhD researchers is doing research for the collaboration with university. So my laboratory in university is doing collaboration with UMedical, and also university laboratory is doing collaboration with industrial companies. So research means usually we do very high level research. However, in case of UMedical, we transfer the technology from university to UMedical. I mean the established method in established or newly discovered, newly developed method in university will be transferred to UMedical, and UMedical will refine and more reshape the method that which is suitable for as a service. So in case of company, service or analytical method should be very robust. And also very important is we have to maintain, we have to keep the quality and also timeline in company. That is, I think, quite different from university laboratory. So usually UMedical have provide service under contract to industrial company, but UMedical do not research with industrial company because research means usually research is a more challenging theme rather than established. I mean just only the analysis with the established method. And always we have to take care about the conflict of interest, COI things. So I routinely consult with the university, COI committee and lawyers. If my activities is a kind of the conflict of interest, because I'm doing a scientific, chief scientific officer of UMedical and also professor in university. And also, UMedical and my laboratory is involved in the regulatory science research. So we are making consortium for biopharma product guideline, how to set the guideline in Japan. And also, I have been giving a lecture at FDA in United States, and how university and also pharmaceutical company making regulatory issues, how solving regulatory issues in Japan. So I think and also this is a kind of take-home message, and there is two ways. This is more business term, I mean market-oriented and product-oriented. So the market-oriented is think what are exact needs of customers, and also develop something based on customers' request, potential request. And I think research is the same. We need, in case of if you want to do industrial more things, not only our interest, we have to understand the customer's request. I mean the industrial request. We have to deeply understand the industry request. And also we return our technology to match such a request. And sometimes there is product oriented, which means making good product will sell well. But this is not always true. So if you have a good skill and maybe your research, you think very good. However, if that is not matched to the market, your research is no meaning for the industrial field. So, and also develop something good and new and take it to industry for industrial application. But that is not good, not always this good gives a good result. So, however, if you think it is really good, do it maybe by yourself. If you think your product or your research is very good, I think it's better to do more business part by yourself. And then if you are very much convinced, because you are not very convinced in your research itself, you cannot persuade other people to do more industrial application. So please do that by yourself and then go to more industrial applications. So I think however, the key point is common for university and your medical laboratory is most important thing is top level biophysical chemistry analytical service and also based on robust and deep scientific knowledge. However, in case of U Medical, that is a venture company offering analytical service by church. So money is more also important and provide result within deadlines. So keeping deadlines is very, very important in case of industrial field. And skilled researchers have worked for many years. So we accumulate the skills in company. So usually university is rather difficult to do that. So please always, however, even in you do industrial field and academia field, think logically. That is the basis of everything, and always think why. That is all. I think the understanding is important. However, service is also important. However, the basis is very solid logical thinking, and also please do not search it. You please do research. Research is not take information. Taking information is not a search. That is just a search. So information and think by yourself based on the information and understand, and that stage, such a stage will generate new idea and also new research, which means new search and take information and think, understand, and a new idea will start. That such kind of routine will a kind of research. So, and also please think about science and engineering. And science is different from engineering. So scientists study the world as it is okay. However, we are very much focused on engineering. Engineering creates a new world that has never been. I think this kind of the difference of science and engineering should be understood well if you do want to do more industrial applications. And this is the final slide of my laboratory. So we are very soon start accepting application for, so we are calling the scholarship students for the next year, from the next year. So if someone in this audience, or if you have, if you know someone who want to come to Japan for study starting from master course with next scholarship, please contact me. So thank you for listening. Terima kasih. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. Uchiyama. Thank you, Sensei, for the great presentations. So we learned from Uchiyama Sensei regarding his experience, not only about his career as a professor in academia, but also the collaboration with industry and his activity on the service research company. So actually, Bio Farma have collaboration with U Medico for the physicochemical characterization of our monoclonal antibody molecule. And we learned so much from you, Uchiyama Sensei. And then Uchiyama Sensei also state that it's very important for academia to understand the need of industry. Based on his experience, the spin-off company usually have a market and product oriented and also milestone commitment, and also based on their scientific knowledge, skill, and scientific experience. So for the participant, if you have any question, please write in the chat feature or raise a hand after all speaker deliver the presentation. So we will move to the second speaker, Dr. Yulius Setiady. So I know Pak Yulius since 2015 ya Pak. Thank you so much for coming here. So let me introduce Pak Yulius. Pak Yulius is a Chief of Scientific Officer at Calbegenexin Biological in immuno-oncology pipeline. He is also currently act as a director of Stem Cell and Cancer Institute PT Kalbe Pharma and also head of the R&D Kalbio Global Medica, and he is also founder Nusantara Bio Consulting. So he will talk about academic research from the perspective of industry, how to identify research with high industrial applicable potential. So without further ado, let us hear from Pak Yulius. So Pak Yulius, the time is yours.
All right. Okay. Can I share the screen?
Yes, Pak, please.
Okay. Okay, do you see my screen right now? I hope.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll start my talk today. Thank you very much for the invitation. Happy to be here. This is my presentation outline. I think to understand the type of academic research that applies to industry, we need to understand the need on industry and also how the industry conduct their R&D. And I will share with you my experience working in the biotech industry in the US in the past 15 years. So I'll start my presentation with the biotech industry and drug development 101, intellectual property 101, and the interaction between academic research and biotech industry in the United States. And then I will end with the situation in Indonesia, our challenges, and how to overcome those challenges. As a disclaimer down there, this is my only views, my own, and do not necessarily represent the organization or companies which I'm affiliated to. So to warm up, before getting into the more serious talk, I thought that I would like to introduce Boston, which is my home in the past 15 years. Boston is located in the northeast of the United States, about 3.5-hour drive from New York City and about 5 hours drive to Montreal in Canada. These are the two iconic pictures of Boston. The top one is the Charles River with the tall buildings on the background. And at the bottom here, it is Jacob Bridge connecting Boston and the airport. Boston is a birthplace of American Revolution. This picture depicts the Boston Tea Party incidents, a political protest to British government for imposing tax without representation. And this ignited the American Revolution that led to American independence in 1776. Boston is also home of champions. For those of you who are sports fans, you may be familiar with these sports clubs. Almost every year, Bostonians enjoy watching their team being a national champion. Boston is also the home of two top world-class academic institutions, Harvard and Massachusetts Institute of Technology. And in relation to our topic today, Greater Boston area ranked #1 in life science cluster list in the United States. This list is based on several factors that measure the activity in life science industry, such as the employment concentration, funding from venture capital, as well as from National Institute of Health, and employment growth, and etc. It is the home of more than 3,000 life science companies with 120 scientists working in Greater Boston area. And these are the names of the world-class pharmaceutical companies that conduct R&D activities in Boston area. Among those, you recognize the three top companies that are developing COVID-19 vaccines, such as Pfizer, AstraZeneca, and Moderna. So if you take a look at these life science companies in the US, you can divide these companies into three types based on their activities. One is the drug manufacturing companies, second is marketing companies, and the third is biotechnology companies. Within biotechnology companies, you can subdivide it into two subtypes. One is product-based. This is the company that develop products and the therapeutic products mainly, and try to get it to the market. The second is technology-based, that is offering some technology for service for a fees, such as Umedico that Professor Uchiyama mentioned in the previous talk. Some of those companies use their technology eventually to develop their own product, because this is much more appealing to the public as well as to the investors. So how does a biotech industry operate and how do they survive? To understand this, we need to understand the drug development process. Okay, Prof. Uchiyama already mentioned a little bit about the process to bring a drug from the bench to the market, and I will elaborate there more detail here. It starts from research. This includes the discovery, lead identification, and optimization. Once you got the lead, you need to develop a strong proof of concept in the in vitro as well as in vivo. This takes about 2 to 3 years. Once you get a good data, then you move in, advancing the project to the preclinical development that includes a manufacturing process development to ensure product quality for a clinical trial. And we use the prototype of the product coming from this process to run a toxicology study, primarily in non-human primate, and to understand the pharmacokinetic profiles of this molecule. Okay, these data are useful to prepare for a clinical trial, because now the medical doctors who run the clinical trial would understand like what type of toxicity they can expect from this drug. And then they know also how to dose the drug, how along the interval between the dosing, etc., because they understand the PK, the pharmacokinetic profile of this drug. This takes about 2 years, and majority of the academic researchers, unfortunately, discount this important process, because what they know is from research, they go to IND, and then they go to clinical development. That's the end of it. Okay, this is industry specific, that we need to ensure that the product is of good quality, that you can dose humans safely. Okay, once everything goes well, then we apply for IND, investigational new drug, and if the regulatory agency is fine with all the dossier, the documentation, then we can start the clinical development, starting with phase 1 to understand the safety of the drug, also to understand the maximum tolerated dose that is safe and also effective for the patient itself. And then it moved to phase 2, where we try to understand the efficacy to the certain indication, to the target indication. And then if everything goes well, then we move to a phase 3 randomized trial to ensure the safety as well as efficacy, and also to compare it with standard of care drugs. Okay, this takes about 5 to 7 years. And then if everything goes well, you go to a regulatory agency with new drug applications. Then within 6 months, basically, they will tell you if it is okay or not. And then you start market your drug. So within this period, basically, there are a lot of activities going on in here. Starting from preclinical development stage, the regulatory department is starting to compile regulatory documentation, preparing for IND. And during the clinical development, this documentation continues to prepare for NDA. And from the CMC manufacturing part, after we finish the prototype of the manufacturing process during preclinical development, preparing the drug for the clinical development, we right now prepare for the commercialization of the product. So we try to fine-tune the process development to make it to increase the yield or to reduce the manufacturing costs. And then once the product enter the phase 3 registrational study, we start a commercial scale manufacturing. Not only manufacturing the product, but we need to ensure the stability of the drug product once we finish the manufacturing. And if we take a look at how much it costs actually to develop a drug for research stage, it requires about 200 million for about 2 to 3 years. Preclinical development, it requires about 150 million, give or take. And then the clinical development, this costs a lot of money, starting from $1 to $2.5 billion. Takes about 5 to 7 years. And of course, during that period, the project valuation and the company valuation increases dramatically. And so right now the question is, how can the company actually fund their R&D? Okay. So usually for startup company, they rely on private equity before the IND. This is the money that comes from venture capitals or private investors that are interested in funding the projects because they believe that the project is going to produce a commercial product that is going to attract more funding in the future. Usually, once they the project reach an IND, the companies start doing initial public offering, and they become a public company that would attract public funding to fund their expensive clinical development. And of course, during that period of time, some big pharmas came in, they may be interested in the product and they will acquire the company or in-license the product exclusively for them to develop. Okay, so where does the academy researchers come into this drug development process? As Prof. Uchiyama already mentioned, academic research primarily focus on the discovery. So in here, basically in the early stage of the drug development process, we engage with academic researchers on technology platform discovery, as well as lead identification, and then moving on to preclinical proof of concept. Okay, and then once we go into the clinical development stage, we collaborate with clinical researchers, translational researchers. These are a group of clinicians that are interested in doing research to understand the biomarker, to identify the patient population that's likely to respond or not respond to our drug. And understand the better combination of the drug with other drugs to increase the activity while maintaining the safety profile. Now, jumping to different topics, I would like to tell you a little bit about intellectual property right or patent. Okay, the goal of having a patent is to protect the invention or innovation. The patent life itself is limited to 20 years from the filing date. Okay, the novelty is the key factor to obtain intellectual property right. What it means is that the innovation or the invention is not obvious by somebody of ordinary skills in a relevant field. Okay, and there is no prior art, meaning that there is no evidence that the invention is already known, meaning that you cannot publish or you cannot describe your invention in any public hearing, and you can only publish it after the submission of the patent application to protect your invention. Okay, Each country has an independent patent office, and the patent application and to get it granted is very expensive, about 10 to 15,000 US dollar per country. So when we in industry try to apply for a patent, our patent lawyer always asks, is it the right time to apply for a patent? And usually what we do is to identify the right time to apply for a patent is see whether the invention already start showing some commercial value or not. Meaning that you have a commercial path, development path of your product, because you have a strong proof of concept, and usually it is before the IND submission. And the patent lawyer always say, please wait as long as possible before you apply for a patent to prolong the patent protection period. Remember, the patent life is only 20 years from the filing date. Once you file the patent, basically the clock starts ticking over there, and sometimes it takes about 15 years to get the drug to the market. So you want to, in order to prolong the patent life, patent protection, you want to delay your application as long as possible. However, it is very risky because the invention can be filed by other party, and that create a prior arts, and so you cannot patent your invention. Besides patent protection, new drug in the US also has market exclusivity for period up to 7 years. This is basically to prevent other companies to copy your molecule. And then the next question is that, well, patent is very expensive, $10,000 to $15,000 per country. So which countries that you apply for a patent? Because you cannot apply to 200 countries and wasting $2 million basically for that. And so usually what we do in industry is to select the countries where the invention has the most value. For a startup company in the US, of course, you apply for a patent in the US as well as Canada, and also West European countries, and maybe China and Japan. Okay, one most important thing to remember is that patent is very valuable for a startup company, for a biotech company, because it boosts company evaluation. Now, you know, if you are an investor sitting over there, some researchers come to you and ask you for money for investment, and you always ask, what is your value of your research actually? And to prove it is actually this patent. Okay, patent is very valuable and always increase the company valuation. So now, during that, if you overlay the product development process with the patent filing or types of patent that you can file, you can see here in this slide. During the research and preclinical development, you generate composition of matter patent. This is a patent that describes the molecule that you are developing. Okay, the sequence of antibody, etc., and the property of that molecule. And once you establish the manufacturing process, when the process is unique to your molecule, then you can apply for that patent as well. So you have two protection here, the composition of matter and also the manufacturing process patent. Once it goes into the clinical development stage, then you can apply for method or process patents. What it means is that you can apply for treatment method, you can claim for dosing schedule, and also you can claim for drug-drug combination patent. So you can see that one single commercial product can be protected by multiple patents. Of course, the goal is to protect the commercial product as long as possible, as much as possible. Okay, so whenever the composition of matter patent expire, you can always still protect the product using other patents that are listed here. And if you take a look at the type of patents in biotechnology, this is coming from the International Patent Office. 55% of them cover the pharmaceutical products, and 40% cover the industrial processes. So if you take a look at the startup biotech industry in the US, academic research is very important here because it is the foundation of the startup biotech industry. And the contribution of academic research can be divided into two types in general. First is the novel, it is patentable product or technology. Okay, for examples, antibody drug conjugates in my past company for targeted delivery of cytotoxic molecule to cancer cells. Okay, or CRISPR-Cas9 for gene editing based gene therapy, or a product focus novelties such as small molecules for targeted cancer therapy. People understand about the EGFR mutation that drive non-small cell lung cancer development. So when you have EGFR inhibitor specific to the mutation, basically you have a drug here, such as osimertinib. And also ALK inhibitor for lung cancer, such as crizotinib, etc. And also immune checkpoint inhibitors for cancer therapy. This is a $4 to $5 billion market at the moment. And there are multiple companies actually working on this one. So PD-1 antibodies, such as pembrolizumab and nivolumab, those have been approved for about 6 years now, and a blockbuster basically in the in industry. And CTLA-4 antibodies such as ipilimumab and tremelimumab. Okay. Or the second type of the contribution of the academic research is to create a unique research tools. This can be soft research tools such as UMedico that provide basically a service or expertise to the other companies, or a solid research tool such as the small molecule library for new therapeutic drug discovery, or genetically modified mice for new drug discovery. And for this type of research tools, actually, you do not have to have a patent. Why is that? Because you are the only one in the world who owns this one. People will come to you, basically. Knowledge cannot be duplicated, cannot be copied. Your library of small molecule, nobody else in the world own that. So the clients will always come to you and work with you for their projects. And as Professor Uchiyama did in his career, many academic researchers, the inventors, become the founders of the startup company. And many of them would like to stay as a researcher, so they function as an advisory board member in the company and let the industrial people that have expertise in the drug development run the company. Okay. Otherwise, of course, if they are not interested in the application in industry, right now the industry expert actually come to take the exclusive license of the patent from university and develop the technology or the product further. So switching to the situation in Indonesia, I'm talking about pharmaceutical companies in Indonesia. Their major activity are drug manufacturing and drug marketing. This is because it is very profitable in these two areas. Okay, the biotechnology or R&D activity is very limited or non-existent because this is burning money. This activity burns money and takes a long time to get the return of investment. And in fact, if you take a look at R&D spending of Indonesian country compared to other countries in the world, You can see on the bar graph on the left here, our spending compared to gross expenditure is actually very, very low. It is almost equal to Philippines. It is well below India, Malaysia, Thailand, or even Vietnam. And if you take a look at R&D spending by sectors over here, most of the spending is done by the government institutions. The contribution of the industry is very small. It's only less than 10% over here. If you compare, for example, to Japan, almost 80% of R&D spending is done by the industry. So this is very different compared to other countries. And of course, we would like to see what are the challenges, why industry is unwilling to spend money on R&D activities. So, as I mentioned in the previous slides, that novel drug development takes a long time, at least about 10 years. And it's very expensive. And the risk of failure is very high here. It costs $2.5 billion per drug approval, but that is when it is approved. Many of them are not approved, okay? And if you take a look at the drug market in Indonesia, it is very limited by the lack of health insurance coverage. Although we have made significant progress with BPJS, for example, but still it does not cover the whole variety of advanced drugs because they are expensive. So you rely on out-of-pocket money. And because of that, because of the drug is very expensive, you have very low consumer affordability here. So as a result, the industry this activity is not profitable, basically. Okay, so we need to have a strategy to make the investment on R&D more attractive, primarily by reducing the cost of research and development. And this can be achieved by tax incentive, by transformation of a regulatory agency, and to allow the drug approval faster and cheaper. And of course, you can take a look at Me Too approach. This is done primarily by Chinese pharmaceutical company, where they start their business by making a copy of the existing product, biosimilar or generic. And then once they understand how to develop those products and they invest on manufacturing facilities, they can use the same facility actually to produce a novel product. What they need right now is a researchers. Okay, so they attract a lot of researchers coming from the US to go back to China to help them boost the novel product development. Okay, so it's a good news because last month, actually the government, Indonesian government through Ministry of Finance has released a new regulation of R&D super tax deduction that allows a maximum of 300% tax deduction for the cost of R&D that produce novel patentable products or processes and commercial products. So I think we have a momentum here with the super tax deduction. With the right direction, I believe we can be successful. And I do encourage the academic researchers to really think about, how to apply their research actually to industry by talking with the industrial counterparts and start developing some strategy on how you can have a mutually beneficial collaboration. With that, I would like to end my presentation this evening, and I'm happy to hear comments or answer questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Pak Yulius, for such a great talk today. So, Pak Yulius talk about the situation of the R&D in US and also in Indonesia. He mentioned about the academia is the foundation of the startup company,
usually, and then universities engage more on the technology platform discovery, on the preclinical proof of concept, as well on the translational research and clinical research in clinical development phase. So he also mentioned about the importance of the intellectual property right, and also mentioned the specific field about the challenge for drug development, such as take a long time, high cost. So and then also limited of the lack of health insurance. So in the end of his presentation, he pointed out that the tax deduction and incentive regulation from our government is very important for industry to involve the development of pharmaceutical product more in the early process. And also he mentioned about the opportunity of the biotechnology product, such as me-too product or biosimilar, as a potential opportunity also for Indonesia. Thank you, Pak Julius. And now we will have a Q&A. I see the lineup of questions for two speakers in the chat. Okay. Or someone that will raise a hand for the question, please. Is there any question?
There's a question in the chat book.
Okay, in the chat. I just had to see. Okay. Okay. Oh yes, this is from the Mita Susada from UGM. This is the question is for Professor Uchiyama. She would like to ask about your suggestion. As a junior staff, I'm wondering how to start the industrial collaboration and convince my faculty, since my research interests are considered new in my lab. So how do you think about that?
So I'm not sure about Indonesian system. However, is it possible to start a company while you're a staff of your department? Because you can ask industrial people for the collaboration, but if your technology or your findings is really applicable to industrial field, I think first you grown up that idea by yourself, which means, however, if you do such activity in your university, maybe you have some restriction of your direction of research. However, if you have your own company, you can do by yourself in your responsibility. But maybe it's not so easy in Indonesia. I don't know about that.
Okay. Thank you, Prof. Uchiyama.
I have a question, Iskandar.
Okay, please, Pak Iskandar.
Thank you. Thank you for the excellent presentation of the both speakers. I think I learned a lot. And my question is about the risk. Yeah, when we are going to, let's say, promote our innovation, our invention, yeah, from discoveries. Yeah. How to minimize the risk, yeah, of the, let's say, so our product is so. I mean, we want to, of course, create the big impact product. Something. How do you suggest to minimize the risk, or is there any a certain risk protocol, for example, whether technology readiness level is useful or not, something like that, or other similar measure.
Yes. Okay. The question will be for both of you, Professor Uchiyama and Pak Yulius.
So in industry, I mean, usually the people or in the company do is SWAT analysis, which is strong and which is weak, and how strong, and I mean, there is a marketing strategy.
Okay.
If your product is really good or not, and however, but this is marketing way, not science based or technology based. But if you want to consider, if you want to get the chance of success, I think the marketing is very, very important.
So, okay. So you do a kind of market survey or not, something like that? No.
So yeah. So
should prepare a kind of market survey, a small market surveys of the new product, for example.
Yes.
So promotion, marketing promotion is very important. That our product is really
yes,
have
promotion itself is important, but before going to promotion, understanding the market itself.
Okay.
Maybe I can add to that. Maybe I can add to that. So if you take a look at the industry, what we normally do before we start any project is to see what we call commercial viability. So what you do is basically take a look at the target product profile, which indications or which patient populations are you going to target using your product. Okay, and whether or not you need to take a look at competitive landscape in that specific indication. Meaning, is there any unmet need? What it means is that whether or not there are a lot of cheap products that people can take it over the counter and get better from the disease itself, or there is a high unmet need, like for example COVID-19, that requires an immediate medical attention because there is no therapy available. Basically, the more, the bigger the commercial viability, the better your chance is to attract the attention from industry, because the industry will acknowledge that and you will get better chance to get a collaborations. So that's one thing. And of course, the second thing is that you need to, before you engage in industry, okay, you need to make sure that your product is novel. What it means is that industry is not going to buy anything if there is no patent protection. Okay, because it's useless for them. There is no value at all. Okay, so what you need to do is basically take a look at Google patent. Okay, Google your molecule or mechanism, or take a look at PubMed, etc. You can get a sense whether or not people have already identified similar molecule, if not the same molecule that you are working on. Okay, and then of course you are not a patent lawyer. Basically, sometimes you cannot find it from the Google patent because they use different terms, for example, in their patent claim, etc. And you really need to go and really do some search and make sure that your product has intellectual property value. Okay. Otherwise, the industry will not buy anything from you. Okay. Hopefully,
thank you,
that
Pak Julius. I hope I can meet you in person because I met already Professor Uchiyama in person in Osaka last year. So
Okay,
Yeah.
sure.
you
Yeah,
come.
Okay.
yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
go to Boston, Pak Iskandar.
No, we can always meet in Boston,
Okay,
or
okay.
I come to Indonesia every few
Yeah.
months
Okay,
actually.
Last
But
year I was in the Whitehead Institute at the MIT.
oh, okay, got it.
Okay.
All right.
So
Okay.
maybe another visit.
Okay.
okay.
Looking forward to it.
So thank you, Pak Iskandar, for your question. Pak Julius, we have question from Lirawati from the University of Brawijaya. So thank you for your explanation, in particular of Indonesia's situation of the R&D contribution from the pharma company. What would you suggest for the university or academy a strategy in research which leading to marketable pharma product, novel product, brand new or me too product, or with some improvement given the visibility in Indonesia? Thank you, Pak Julius.
Yes. For novel product, I would say go for it. If you think your product is novel and patentable, and probably you need to think worldwide in terms of attracting the investment. Okay. Sometimes it's very difficult to attract some investment in Indonesia because most of the investors are not familiar with the biotech industry. Okay, so I would suggest that if you believe that your product is commercially viable and it is novel, get a patent in the US, and then you sell it to the venture capitals in the US. So I can tell you something about venture capitals. Venture capitals are companies that hold a lot of investment coming from rich people. Okay, they employ actually industrial experts in this company, what they call directors. Okay, that is in charge actually looking into new technology or new product that have a chance to develop into industry. Okay, they always look for new technology, new product all the time. When the patent come out, they always see whether or not this has a commercial value or not. And they always go to you basically and in-license your product, and then they will ask you to become the founder, and they will run the company for you. Okay, so get visibility in the Western world because you will have better chance over there compared to in Indonesia. For Indonesian companies, okay, if you want to attract them, you need to convince them there's the cost of development of your product is not expensive. Okay, meaning that you need to reduce the risk of failure. Okay, how to reduce the risk of failure for new product, novel product? The risk is very high. If you go with biosimilar, it is more on industrial process rather than research. Okay, and if you try to modify an existing product, you need to be sure that the modification actually is going to increase the commercial value of the product itself. All right, because the cost of running a new clinical trial, running a new, develop a new manufacturing process is very expensive as well. All right, so you need to have a significant improvement in terms of activity of your product compared to the existing product. I hope that helps.
Okay, thank you, Pak Julius. So this is a lineup of questions from Jainullah to Professor Uchiyama and Dr. Julius. What is your opinion about the gap knowledge between university and industry in Indonesia, especially in the technology, applicable technology? How do you minimize the gap? And what about the spin-off company perspective in this gap to fill the gap?
In my case, actually, I had gap before starting my company. However, after I start a company, um, uh, Umedico actually made a contract with, I mean, the non-disclosure agreement, a lot of very strict contract with companies. And under such a situation, companies start to disclose what actually they are thinking. If we belong only to university, company rather hesitate to disclose what they are thinking. However, if there is a very strict non-disclosure agreement, they will start to disclose. So, from which we gradually understand the needs, requests from companies. That is, I think, initial step, how to understand the company's needs. And after we actually know the needs or requests from companies, and then go to some the meeting, or the symposium, we can understand more about the companies. If we go to symposium, or the conference, even for very industrial oriented symposium, however, we cannot understand what the industry people thinking, because we at least we need to basic knowledge what the basic needs of the company. To acquire that kind of information, we have to get into details about the company. So the contract is very, very important. Otherwise, they do rather hesitate to speak honestly to us. And also, we have to promise to company not to get their intellectual properties from our conversation. Yeah, that kind of um, I think the contract basis, also the promise base, and the conversation and the communication is very, very important.
Okay, Pak Julius, any
Yep, yeah. I echoed Prof. Uchiyama statement that usually, I was in academic research before, so I understand that usually when you talk with people from industry, they are very secretive. And when I go to industry, then I understand why they need to be secretive, because they want to protect their intellectual property. When they go out there and present a paper or a poster, you better know that they only present only probably 10% of the knowledge. Okay. And this knowledge probably has been acquired for 5 years ago. Okay, they are well ahead of you basically, because they are preventing a competition from other company. All right.
Yeah.
And maybe many knows about this because it's also in industry. So and we need to understand that. And I think the biggest gap that I feel between academic institution and industry is the lack of understanding from the academic researchers on the product development itself. They always think, okay, you do research, you do discovery, you have a lead molecule, that's done, basically. You go to the clinic, that's it, basically. No, it is not like that. We need to ensure that you have a robust manufacturing process and good quality, good stability molecule that you can administer to humans safely. And it is very expensive to get to that stage, actually. All right? Okay, hope that helps.
Okay, yeah. Okay, thank you for both of you. And we have several questions also from Ibu Poppy to Pak Julius about the patent on the pharmacy are not really necessary because it will open the formulas and can be copied by other competitors. So maybe how you have a strategy on that.
Yeah, patent is going to protect your product, meaning that if there is a copycat basically out there, you can sue them and you get a lot of money for that. Okay, I can take an example between Bristol Myers Squibb and Merck, for example, on PD-1 antibody. Okay, their patent timing filing is very close to one another. Okay, but BMS has a previous patent on the discovery of PD-1 itself, and they sued Merck for infringing their patent. Okay, and what happened, we do not know. It was not settled on the court, basically, because it was settled behind the door, and we believe that Merck paid a good sum of money to BMS to make the file, the infringement go away. And so, indeed, you are right. Once we apply for a patent and it is published, basically everything is out there, your molecule, your formula, etc. But remember, you have your own process. You are ahead of them many, many years, basically. And when you run a clinical trial, that is your own data. Okay. Like, for example, if in Indonesia, BPOM is not going to allow any company to go into the market without any clinical data, without any manufacturing data. Okay, you need to prove them that you have a very solid manufacturing process. Also, you have a good safety data and also efficacy data in human, in the clinic. Okay, and that is very, very expensive, basically. And once you know your competitor go into the market on the same indication, similar product, you can take a look whether or not their product is the same like what you have in your patent or not. And if it is the same, then you can claim it is your product and you can sue them basically in the court. And hopefully that helps.
Yeah, can I add one thing
Yeah, please,
about
please,
that?
yes, please.
Yes, because also in case of I also want to add one case about Humira. Maybe you know adalimumab.
Yep.
It's the largest sales in the world at this moment. And actually AbbVie, that is AbbVie's product. So they are patented for the molecules itself. In addition that they also applied the patent about formulation. So the different formulation. So they actually applied formulation patent after several years of the initial molecules patent. And if they do not apply that patent, if your product is is manufactured in the same formulation, and if you have no patent, your product will not be protected. Of course, product patent itself, your product will be protected. However, formulation patent will be also held. So in case of Humira, no, actually, other company like Amgen, even Amgen, rather difficult to sell their product because patent, Humira formulation, there is Humira patent formulation. So I think patent, maybe previously hiding your formulation is one way. However, if you do such a thing, if another company make a product in different formulation, which is very same formulation as your company, however, if you have no patent, that formulation will be also patented from another company. So I think the hiding the formulation or molecular, the structure is not a good way at this moment. Rather, I recommend you to apply patent and get your own patent to protect your, the product.
I agree with Professor Uchiyama, actually. In industry, basically, we always have a strategy how to manage the life cycle of a product. And one way to extend the life of a product is through patent application, subsequent patent application. You always come back with new formulation, new process development, etc. That will basically extend the protection of your product for many, many years.
Yes.
So actually, my wife is patent attorney.
Okay.
Oh, I see.
and she knows some friends in Indonesian patent office.
Okay.
So if you have something interesting, yes, maybe I not myself, but my wife can help about that.
Thank you, Prof. Uchiyama. Yes, that's a question from Anna to Pak Yulius. Advance in human genome research may transform the drug development from traditional approach to personalized medicine. So what is your opinion about this, and is Indonesia ready for this?
Definitely the human genome research helps. However, sometimes the finding of driver mutations, for example, is coming from, I would say, by chance. All right. Let's take a look at the EGFR mutations. Okay. EGFR mutations had a couple of mutations that would basically render EGFR. This is a growth factor receptor that would basically enhance the cell growth. And this mutation render the receptor constitutively active. Okay, this is only happening in about 10% of the patients of non-small cell lung cancer. Okay, the discovery of this one is not through human genome project. It is through a careful clinician observations. What they have found, basically, if you take a look at the history, they found what they call it super responder. Not super spreader, but super responder, okay? Meaning that when you give EGFR drug, gefitinib or erlotinib, what they call is tumor melts away within 1 month, okay? And this only happened in certain patient populations. First of all, they found it is women, non-smokers, okay? And Asian, okay? And what about this population that's different from other populations? And later on, they found out that these are the populations that carry EGFR mutations. And then they found out that there is a secondary EGFR mutation that rendered it patients, that rendered this tumor to become irresponsive to first inhibitor. And this is a second mutation. So they go take a look at the second mutation and found out the second one, and then they develop the second product, etc. So this is a rigorous research, a good research activities that is sparked by an observation, a careful observation by clinicians. All right. So just to give you that sort of flavor of, sometimes you do basic research, but you need to be really, how do you call that, careful of what you have found. Actually, maybe it has carry some implications in which that you can apply it in industry. All right.
Raise hand from Pak Andrian. Yeah, please, Pak Andrian.
Yeah, thank you very much for the opportunity. I've been interested to the talk from Dr. Yulius Setiady. Following the latter discussion, so what do you think, which is more important to be recognized? Is it the genotyping, or is more phenotyping? I mean, yeah, with that question, it seems that people in Indonesia is still focusing on genotyping matter, but also when we look at the patient or the characteristic, that means the phenotyping is also contributed. So what is your opinion about that, Dr. Julius? Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for the questions. I cannot say that one is better than the other. That depends, basically. Like, for example, if you go take a look at EGFR mutation, of course, genotyping is important over there because you can identify those mutations that render the tumor sensitive to the EGFR inhibitor. Okay. However, you can take a look at the phenotyping as well. And this is coming from a clinical trial, for example. If you take a look at pemetrexed, for example, this is a chemotherapeutic drug, basically, and it only approved for non-squamous carcinoma of the lung. Why is that? Because when they apply to the squamous carcinoma of the lung, you have a lot of tremendous toxicity. Okay, why is it happening? You do not know. So again, this is a clinical observation, and you cannot predict this in the preclinical stage. Okay, so I cannot tell. It is case by case, basically.
Okay, so we still have more 4 minutes to go, but there is a lineup of questions. So this is very interesting talk today. So I just mentioned only two, and I'm sorry because we don't have any time to add in this session. So from Ibu Penny to Uchiyama Sensei and Pak Julius, based on your experience, how to change the mindset of the scientists to become entrepreneur?
In my case, that is kind of that happened suddenly. That is a kind of maybe starting and get into industrial field under the collaboration or contract based. If you start that, I think, and if you have the sympathy or if you really want to solve the problem or issue of your client means your collaborator in the industry the industry people have some problem or something that have to be issued, that issues that have to be solved, and if you deeply think about that, I think that is a starting point. If you want to solve together, you have to think about that very honestly and very faithfully. In that case, you think something as your project. And that if you start the solving that problem, maybe that is a starting point. But it's not so easy to explain that.
Yeah, to add that, I think in my experience, basically, you need to see what is your end product of your research, whether or not it will address the unmet need in the clinics. Okay, so if you know that your product has a chance, or you can engineer your product or technology to address the unmet need, that is great. Okay, and most scientists, unfortunately, do not think that way. They are so focused on what they are doing in the lab. Okay, they are focusing on how to publish papers, how to gain new knowledge. Okay, and that's not going to be helpful. Basically, you need to start from the end product first, and then go to the beginning. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Uchiyama Sensei and Pak Julius. So the last question is from Dilva Yunia. She asked asking about how our research process can keep up with the fast-changing world. As we all know, the research process may take years while the world keep on changing. How can we sure that when we study is done, is still relevant with the world situation. So what do you think, Prof. Uchiyama and Pak Julius?
I already write something, but every company have plan they want to do in the future, but they cannot start immediately. That is, I think, needs. So if you understand, if you know that, I mean that you can start that kind of thing. So I think if the company, so as Dr. Julius explained, company have a lot of information. I mean the at least 5 year advantage. They have a lot of information. Although they have even they maybe didn't start the project, but they have a lot of pile of information, and they have knowledge. So it's not so easy to understand what things you can, I mean, something you start, but usually that is behind the company, always. So you have to understand correctly what company want to start in very future. So understanding that, you have to get into the company's information very deeply. So not so, I mean, the easy to tell you, but that is one way. It's another way is maybe more strategic way. So the analyze your product is really novel or not, comparing the patent. Patent is usually much more advanced, I mean the advanced compared to published papers. So if you analyze patent and making so-called patent map, and which product is I mean far behind, or which product is advanced, maybe you can find your product is really novel or not. That is one way, I think.
Okay.
All right, just to answer the questions, I think one key word here is adapt. You need to adapt to ever-changing technology, to ever-changing landscape. You cannot prohibit people making new invention, okay? But what you can do is adapt. And what we do in industry is also, we are not afraid of to kill a project, which means that if we know that we don't have any chance to make it market viable, we will kill it right away, because that will reduce the cost of research and development. Okay, hopefully that helps.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Julius and Prof. Uchiyama, for a very great talk today. And I'm sorry that I cannot read all of the question due to the time constraint. So we will have to finish this webinar. And thank you for taking time of both speakers to this webinar. And we have our appreciation, Bu Sastia, please.
Okay, thank you very much. It's really, really exciting to be here and attend to really great talk, and also our moderator, also from industry that I really respect, Ibu Neni, also very good. Actually, you are probably a good speaker as well regarding this topic, but I'm so fortunate to be able to meet Dr. Yulius Setiady for the first time. Pak Julius, I heard you're also alumni of Osaka University.
I am alumni of Department of Biotechnology. Actually,
yeah,
I did a
Uchiyama
PhD over
Sensei,
there.
he's our department alumni.
Yeah, I was with Professor Fukusaki. Actually, he was associate professor at that time, so I did my PhD in the same lab with him.
Kobayashi Sensei.
Kobayashi Sensei, yes.
Okay.
But actually, I was from Simyo Sensei. Simyo
Simyo
Atsuhiko
Sensei.
Sensei.
Okay,
Simyo
okay.
Sensei went to Nara Sentang University,
yes.
and then I stayed in Osaka to finish my PhD.
Oh, really?
Okay,
Yeah.
what's a small word?
Whole
Yep.
world, yes, and everybody is interconnected. So I'm really really pleased to bring a great line of speakers today, and also great line of audience. I think people here who are the audience are also experts and key professors or key officers in the university or in the industry, and hopefully within this group we are able to form kind of group or working group, and then later on we can collaborate and do exciting things together. So we're really really excited, and we really thank you to both our speakers, and we have a very special uh, special customized present for both of our speaker. We know that probably we cannot deliver it to you directly, Pak Julius, but probably I can to Uchiyama Sensei. So to Uchiyama Sensei, I would like to give a big round of applause for your excellent presentation. And thank you for your time today. Very valuable knowledge is shared with us. And we really thank you for sharing your wisdom with the scientific communities in Indonesia. So you are here today wearing batik, a very beautiful batik. So you're very familiar with batik and
Yeah.
our cuisine. And this is your picture in front of Borobudur Temple. Have you ever been there, Sensei?
No.
Okay, so hopefully I will bring you there next time.
Yeah. And
So,
also to resto, Padang resto.
ya, Padang Resto ya, favorit of
Yeah.
Uchiyama Sensei.
Favorit of Uchiyama Sensei.
Yeah.
Rendang ya Sensei ya.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
Yes, and we also have for Pak Julius. Pak Julius, thank you so much for being here very early in the morning in Boston. It's a great honor to meet you finally virtually. I've heard a lot about you from Ibu Neni, and a lot of wisdom also is shared. So this is your picture in front of Baluran National Park, East Java. This is our natural park, and I actually visited here when I was a student in ITB. It's a very, very beautiful conservatory forest. And I hope, I don't know if you've been there, but I hope.
No, never been there.
Never been there. I hope you will be able to come and visit.
Yes, yes.
And next time.
So
Yep.
thank you to both speakers from the bottom of our hearts for your wonderful contribution today. And I think I represent the whole audience today that feel like we really get a lot of good information and knowledge and insights, as well as new perspectives to move forward.
Yeah.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you. Thank you
Thank-
very
thank
much,
you.
everyone.
So,
Stay healthy.
yes,
Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
yes,
Bye-bye. Have a good
lovely
night.
meeting.
Bye-bye.
Looking forward for the next
Bye-bye.
session. Yes.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Okay, good.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
Bye.
everyone.
Sensei.
Thank you.
Prof.
Yes.
Setiady.
Thank you, Sensei and Pak Julius. Okay, good night
Good
for
night,
everyone.
everyone.